The spoiled little princess who made my life a living hell since childhood insisted on dragging me to a street race the night before my engagement. She ended up in a horrific crash, and went completely blind. Her parents stormed into my house, demanding that I take responsibility for her for the rest of my life. I was terrified and completely overwhelmed, so I ended up marrying her in a daze. But later, I found out. She had been faking her blindness the whole time. The wall was plastered with photos of me, and her eyes were crystal clear. With trembling hands, she traced them inch by inch, a chilling smile creeping across her face. "Baby, you're finally mine," I gasped in sheer terror. Right at that moment, she snapped her head around. Her piercing eyes locked dead onto me. When I first got Liu Ruyan's message, it was the night before my engagement. I stared at the text on my screen, wondering why on earth she had to come back right at this exact moment. The 4 years Liu Ruyan spent studying abroad were the absolute happiest days of my life. But she just flew back yesterday. And today she's already out here looking for trouble. I peeked out the window secretly, and saw her leaning against the door of a Rolls-Royce, looking flawlessly elegant. As if sensing me, she suddenly tilted her head up and shot a glance straight toward my room. I instantly ducked behind the wall. I started typing a reply to her. "I've got a cold." Then I deleted it. "I have a stomach ache." Deleted it again. Liu Ruyan was never a reasonable person. If there was something she wanted to do, she always made it happen. And she was utterly ruthless. The way she looked at people, it was like she wanted to eat them alive. Just seeing her sent shivers down my spine. She looked exactly like her mother. A classic, stunning beauty. The adults always praised her beautiful, smiling eyes. But I knew the truth. Those pretty eyes of hers held nothing but an icy, dead stare. Why the hell did she always have to single me out to torture? I thought, feeling completely defeated. We're all grown up now. We aren't little kids anymore. Why should I still let her push me around? I was just about to text her. "I'm not going. I'm getting engaged tomorrow. It doesn't look good for us to hang out." I paused, and then typed a few more words. "We need boundaries." I hesitated, my thumb hovering over send. Standing up to someone who has dominated your entire life since childhood is honestly terrifying. If only I had stood up to her earlier, then maybe I wouldn't be so deathly afraid of her now. While I was still agonizing over it, a knock came at my door. "Liu Ruyan is waiting for you outside. Why haven't you gone out yet?" It was my mom. I was incredibly frustrated. I refused to open the door, and I refused to answer her. My chest tightened with bitter resentment. If they hadn't been such neglectful parents. I just ignored her and finally hit send on the text message. Feeling miserable, I buried myself entirely under my blankets. I refused to believe it. I'm not listening to her anymore. What is she gonna do? Beat me up? We're adults now. No one gets to control me anymore. Besides, I'm getting married. As soon as the wedding is over, I'll inherit the 50 million from my grandfather's trust fund. Once I have that, I'll be completely financially independent. I won't have to listen to a single soul, not even my parents. I'll block every last one of them, and leave them all to rot in regret. As I thought about it, I felt this twisted sense of satisfaction, but at the same time, I was crying my eyes out. But then, right when I reached out for a tissue to wipe my tears, my blanket was violently ripped off. I glared over, completely furious, only to see Liu Ruyan. She was just sitting there on the edge of my bed, staring at me. My anger just instantly vanished. "How did you get in?" I asked, backing away from her instinctively. But she grabbed my wrist in a flash. "Lu Xingci, since when did you go deaf? I told you to come outside. How many times do I have to say it?" I struggled, but I couldn't break free. I snapped at her. "I'm not going." Her voice was ice cold. "Say that again. I won't go, even if you make me say it 100 times. I mustered up a little courage. "I'm getting married, so I'm a grown adult now. Don't you even think about bullying me like you used to." She just laughed. She narrowed her eyes at me. "Oh, that's cute. Look who's got a temper now." And with that, she pinched my chin, leaning in like she was going to kiss me. My eyes went wide, staring at her in absolute panic. "You see? She's always been this awful. When we were kids, wherever she wanted to go, she'd drag me along, and if I said no, she'd threaten to kiss me. Now she's pulling the exact same trick," and she whispered. "The Song family is super strict about their reputation. What do you think they'll do if they find out you and I are sleeping together right before the wedding? Will you still be able to get your hands on that marriage fund your grandpa left you?" I turned my head away, and muttered quietly, "Fine, I'll go out with you right now." She finally let me go, and just sat there openly looking around my room. As we were heading downstairs, my parents and my younger sister were in the living room. The three of them were chatting about something. When they saw us coming down, my mom beamed at Liu Ruyan and said, "Oh my goodness, it's so nice that you and Xingci are such good friends. He just shuts himself in all day without saying a word. Honestly, you're the only one who can actually get him out of the house." They actually thought we had a great relationship, or rather, they really wanted us to have a good relationship. Grandpa passed away a few years ago, Ever since he died, our family's social standing took a massive nosedive. My dad is stuck in a dead-end position right now, and he desperately needs some serious connections to climb the ladder. The Song family could help us out, but Liu Ruyan's family? They've always been in a completely different league than us. Whenever she came looking for me in the past, my parents would constantly lecture me, telling me that I had to do whatever she wanted to become best friends with her, or else, they threatened to send me right back to the countryside. Liu Ruyan casually said a few polite words, and then the two of us headed out. Right before I walked out the door, I overheard my sister whining about wanting to go on a trip to Europe. My dad told her she couldn't go abroad, so she just kept pestering him relentlessly, begging him to go with her. Whenever they go on family vacations, they never, ever invite me. Not that I'd go even if they did. I have zero interest in playing the background character, just to make the rest of them look good. Anyway, I have no idea what Liu Ruyan is planning to do with me. She didn't say a word, and neither did I. She pulled the car up to the entrance of a hotel, and rolled down the window. She just sat there for a while, tapping her fingers on the steering wheel, lost in her own world. I was getting pretty restless. Like, what were we even doing here? She gave a little nod toward the front. I looked over. Wait, isn't that Song Xiaoming? The guy I'm supposed to be forced to marry? And, there was another man right beside him. Song was storming ahead, looking incredibly annoyed. The other guy kept trying to catch up to him. I just looked away. What's so interesting about this? I thought. Then, she handed me a stack of photos. They were all shots of Song Xiaoming and that same guy getting super touchy-feely. I freaking knew it. If Liu Ruyan doesn't go out of her way to make my life miserable, she simply can't function. Her happiness is literally built right on top of my misery. So what? I said. I'm marrying him. He's secretly seeing someone else, but I don't care. Once we're married, I'll do whatever the hell I want, too. I refused to look her in the eye, but I could feel her intense stare burning right through me. Liu Ruyan just has this crazy intimidating aura. Seriously suffocating. If I locked eyes with her, I'd definitely be the one to back down. So, I usually just avoid embarrassing myself. It felt like she was staring a literal hole into my head. My scalp was tingling with anxiety. I had to keep explaining. Look, I just want the marriage trust fund my grandpa left me. I don't want to live at home anymore. Then why him? She demanded. I didn't pick him. My parents chose him. They gave me my life. And raised me. If I go along with this marriage for them, it pays off my debt to them. After this, I'm never going back home. I'll just move far, far away by myself. Cut ties with everyone. She took a long, deep breath, and just drove off. On the way back, she threw it out there, all casual. Why don't you just marry me? I have to get married anyway. And I wouldn't mess around behind your back. Yeah right, she wouldn't mess around? The only reason she wouldn't mess around is because her absolute favorite hobby is torturing me. When she was studying abroad and swamped with work, that was the only time I managed to escape her clutches. If I actually married her, that would literally be throwing myself into the lion's den. Plus, moving into her family's place? I'd have to walk on eggshells for the rest of my life. Hell no, I'm not doing that. I'll meet someone I actually like eventually, I replied. Whatever Song Xiaoming wants to do, that's his business. But as for you, you're way out of my league. I couldn't possibly. I said. I knew she was just trying to mess with me again. Back when we used to hang out, she'd drop these weird hints all the time. Like, she'd suddenly get super close to me, or try to casually grab my hand. I dodged it every single time. Thank God my family, even though we're not as rich as hers, still grew up in the same elite circle. Both families know each other pretty well, and have connections, so, she wouldn't dare try anything by force. I actually know she wrote me a love letter back in high school. It didn't have a name on it, but I totally knew it was from her. I was just walking home that day, digging through my backpack for some change to get KFC, when I stumbled right upon it. I glanced at it a few times, then ripped it to shreds. I tossed it into a trash can by the street, and her car was tailing right behind me the whole time. Later on, her attitude toward me was so incredibly sweet, but sometimes it carried this bitter, teeth-gritting hatred. I was terrified of her, yet I still put up with her, but honestly, I just hated the whole damn world. I'd never show it on the outside, but the hate was always there. Sometimes, I just wanted to destroy absolutely everything. I even thought about burning my own house to the ground. But that was all in my head. In real life, I'm just a spineless coward. Liu Ruyan was dead set on dragging me around all day. Right after lunch, she wanted to play golf. And then horseback riding. I just tagged along, totally drained. When night fell, her friends dragged her out for a street race. I was absolutely terrified of racing. I just knew we were gonna crash. But she wouldn't take no for an answer, and dragged me right into the car. The place was swarming with people. I felt totally out of place. Liu Ruyan literally shoved me into the passenger seat. I want to get out, I told her. But she just said, Lu Xingci, keep pushing it, and I'll kiss you right here, right now. I was practically in tears. Can you at least drive a little slower, then? Is it really racing if we go slow? She really didn't give a damn that I was terrified. The deafening roar of the engine ripped through the air. I clung for dear life to anything I could grab hold of. The second the car shot forward like a bullet, my stomach dropped. I felt like throwing up. I swore to myself I'd never, ever go anywhere with Liu Ruyan again. But then, right as we hit a sharp curve, she actually tried to start a conversation. She yelled, "Lu Xingci, why don't you just marry me?" I was too terrified to even breathe. She's always loved threatening me like this. Like back when I used to ride on the back of her bike, she'd force me to swear. And I'd never ignore her calls, and I'd never leave her messages unread. Whenever I stayed quiet, she'd snap. "If you don't promise me right now, we're both taking a dive off this cliff together." Sometimes I really think, Liu Ruyan and I might be cut from the exact same cloth. We both have this dark urge to just ruin things. The only difference is, I just keep it in my head. She actually goes through with it. Before I could even open my mouth to answer, her car slammed violently into the side of the mountain. Thank God we didn't hit the guardrail, or we both would have been sent flying right off the edge. I stared at the blood streaming down her face in absolute shock, and stammered. "Were you trying to get us both killed?" She just shot me a glare. "What do you think?" she scoffed. The ambulance rushed us both straight to the hospital. I walked away with a mild concussion. She went straight into the ICU. While I was stuck there, everyone took turns dropping by just to gawk at me like some zoo animal. Song Xiaoming showed up too. He was looking at me with those deeply affectionate puppy dog eyes. But I already knew he was cheating on me with some young toy boy. The moment he grabbed my hand, I felt completely disgusted. So I jerked away. Honestly, thank God I never actually loved him either. We were basically just playing a part. When everyone else finally cleared out of the room, he started coaxing me in this super gentle voice. "Promise me you won't go street racing with Liu Ruyan ever again. Look how badly you got hurt. My parents are gonna be so upset when they find out." I just grunted in response, while he eagerly went right back to peeling an apple for me. He said, "I saw you with a guy the other day." Walking out of that hotel, he froze, but his face quickly returned to total calmness. I used to date him, but by the time our families discussed this marriage, we had already broken up. "You don't need to dump him just for me." He looked at me, completely stunned and deeply moved. "You're just so understanding." I cut him off. "Once we're married, we're living apart. You don't have a problem with that, right?" He frowned. "No way, that won't work. My parents are dying for a grandchild." He added, "Don't worry, my family will take great care of you once you have a baby." Every time my sister had a kid, she got an 8-figure bonus. I frowned. If he refused to live apart, then I didn't want to marry him. But if I didn't marry him, I wouldn't get my money. The whole thing stressed me out for 2 solid days. By the time I was back on my feet, Liu Ruyan had woken up. But she was completely blind. A massive crowd surrounded her, packing the hospital room to the brim. The doctor said her retinal nerve might be compressed. She stayed in the hospital for a few days, and I dropped by to see her a couple of times. Her eyes were bandaged up, but she could somehow recognize my footsteps every single time. Her parents absolutely hated my guts. Because we were in the same car, they blamed me for the accident. Meanwhile, Liu Ruyan just sulked in silence all day long. Which makes sense. If I suddenly went blind, I'd probably be in a terrible mood, too. I told her, "See? I told you not to go street racing. But you wouldn't listen." She looked even more annoyed, and snapped at me, "Lu Xingci, do you think I can't kick your ass right now? Is that why you're gloating?" I leaned down to inspect her bandaged face. Right beneath the gauze was her sharp nose. Those thin, bright red lips. I replied, "I'm not gloating. Literally everyone thinks I'm the one who ruined your life. But you were the one driving. Who knows what the hell you were thinking?" She smirked and whispered, "I'm going to make you pay for talking to me like that." Saying that, she reached out to grab my hand. Even when she was perfectly healthy, I could never beat her in a fight. Was I seriously going to let a half-crippled patient catch me? I immediately dodged, but she still managed to lock onto my wrist and yanked me toward her. "Lu, you blind bat. Let me go," I yelled, aiming a bite right at her hand. She used her free hand to pry my jaws open, while I hit her as hard as I could. Suddenly, her mother's furious voice echoed through the room. "What on earth are you two doing? Ruyan is badly injured. How could you bully her like this?" "Mom, we're just playing around," Liu Ruyan casually replied. My face was bright red as I shot her a furious, deadly glare. Then I got out of there fast. Oh, and I changed her name in my phone to Blind Lu. I think it has a pretty nice ring to it. She made my life a living hell for so long, and now, karma's finally doing my dirty work. I felt absolutely fantastic about it. Honestly, it made me way more eager to go visit her. My parents were thrilled, of course. Her parents, on the other hand, they glared at me every single time I showed up. But I'm used to it by now. They couldn't stand the sight of me, so I'd just walk right past them and call out to Liu Ruyan. "Hey, Blind Lu." I'd hold out an apple for her and say, "Hey, Blind Lu. Want a bite of this apple?" I'd hold it right up to her lips. But the second she opened her mouth to take a bite, I'd snatch it away. "Too bad, Blind Lu. I'd rather throw it in the trash than let you have it." Every single time I talked to her, I made sure to use that name. Blind Lu, I'm here to see you. Blind Lu, feeling any better today? Blind Lu, spring is finally here. Too bad you can't see a damn thing, Blind Lu. Why don't you come and hit me? I'm right in front of you. Ah, Blind Lu, are you getting mad? I thought you were so tough. Come on, teach me a lesson like you used to. Sometimes, I did feel like a horrible person. I mean, she was literally blind, and here I was, rubbing salt in the wound. But I didn't want to stop. Because I knew for a fact, if the tables were turned and I was the blind one, she would have tortured me 10 times worse. Anyway, after she got out of the hospital, I pretty much stopped going over to see her. Honestly, her family freaked me out. Then, right before I was supposed to get engaged to Song Xiaoming, Liu Ruyan and her parents showed up uninvited at our front door. Now, in front of her folks, I didn't dare pull any stunts. I had to put on a polite face and ask, Ruyan, are you feeling any better? She just gave me this little smile. Inside, I was rolling my eyes so hard. While they were busy talking to my parents, I tried to sneak upstairs. I grabbed Liu Ruyan's hand and told him I was taking her for a little walk. She was walking super slow, tapping her white cane against the floor to check for things in her way. But me being me, I wanted to mess with her, make her feel totally helpless in the dark. So, I led her straight toward the stairs. Just as we reached the landing, the adults' voices drifted over to us. It was loud and clear. Her mom was saying, now that our Yan Yan has lost her sight, Xingci needs to take some responsibility for this. Then her dad chimed in. We aren't here to point fingers or assign blame. But Yan Yan is going to need someone to look after her for the rest of her life. She still needs a husband. Her mom added, Yan Yan and Xingci grew up together anyway. Since your boy's engagement to the Song family hasn't been officially announced yet, we think Xingci should be the one to marry Yan Yan. After all, if the two of them hadn't gone street racing that night, none of this would have ever happened. I stared down at them in absolute horror. My parents were grinning so wide their eyes were practically squeezed shut. They obviously thought they had just struck gold by marrying up into her family. But me? I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. Right then, Liu Ruyan turned her head toward me. A sly smirk crept onto her lips, and she leaned in, whispering right into my ear. Surprise. I felt a chill run down my spine. But the panic only lasted for a second, because I didn't want to marry Song Xiaoming anyway. Even though Liu Ruyan used to bully me all the time, she's blind now. From now on, I can be the one bullying her. Besides, it's not like my parents would give me a choice anyway. So, the matter was settled. We decided to cancel the big wedding. Instead, we scheduled a simple ceremony for a month later, and went to get our marriage certificate the very next day. With the cash, the house, and the commercial spaces now mine, I was absolutely thrilled. I immediately moved into one of the apartments my grandpa left me. My parents frowned at the sight of it. My mom said, how exactly have we wronged you? You're getting married soon, yet you're in such a rush to move out right now. What will other people think of our family? My dad chimed in, calling me an ungrateful brat who could never be tamed. You don't care about this family at all. Do you really hate us that much? My sister added, brother, why do you always have to make mom and dad so angry? But I was completely unfazed. I just let the movers take all my stuff away. Liu Ruyan wasn't exactly thrilled about me moving out, either. She asked me, why don't you just move straight in with me? My parents already set up a new house for us. It'll just be the two of us. We won't be living with them. I refused, because I was sick and tired of always feeling like a guest. When I was a kid, my parents desperately wanted a sweet little daughter. But when they saw I was born a boy, they shipped me off to be raised by relatives out in the countryside. Every single day I had to do heavy farm chores, and I only ever got to eat their cold leftovers. Back then, I absolutely despised eating noodles, because they never put any seasoning in them at all. They tasted completely awful. One time, my relatives gave me a massive bowl of those noodles. I just couldn't stomach it. But they scolded me, saying I wasn't allowed to waste food. They forced me to keep eating from that exact same bowl for every single meal. It took me 3 whole days to finally finish it. Later on, when I started middle school, my parents finally brought me back home. My sister is 5 years younger than me. After I moved back in, she thought I was there to steal mom and dad away from her, so she hid me every single day. Whenever mom and dad were around, she would burst into fake, dramatic tears. I swallowed my pride and endured it for a while. But I quickly realized that taking the abuse wasn't going to make my parents love me. So, from then on, whenever my sister hit me, I would fiercely slap her right back. I remember the most brutal time. I slapped her so hard she fell backward down the stairs. She just rolled all the way down. I thought I'd be terrified. But then my dad marched up and slapped me twice across the face. He hit me so hard my nose started bleeding. My mom joined in, beating me relentlessly too. Strangely enough, I felt completely calm. I even ran away from home for 2 whole days. Until they reluctantly dragged themselves down to the police station to pick me up. Honestly, growing up, I kinda came to understand it. On one hand, you have the son they never raised, silent, withdrawn, always gloomy and miserable. On the other hand, you have the child they kept by their side. Their sweet-talking, precious little girl they had always wished for. Even an idiot could tell which way the scales were going to tip. Whether I was at my parents' house, or dumped at my relative's place in the countryside, or even moving in with Liu Ruyan, none of those places were ever truly my home. I admit it, I just don't want to rely on myself, grinding away at some dead-end job just to survive. Scraping by in some cramped rental apartment. I just want to take the money my grandpa left for me. Even though I know, the reason he left this money to me. They just want me for this arranged marriage, but I'm still gonna take what's mine. Why the hell shouldn't I? I've been working my ass off for 2 whole days. I'm moving out for good. And there is no way in hell I'm going to Liu Ruyan's place. But, I will go check on her during the day. She's staying with her parents right now. Every time I visit, I always take Liu Ruyan out for a walk. Her mom isn't happy about it at all. She told me, her eyes still haven't adjusted yet. Why on earth are you taking her outside? And that's when Liu Ruyan would chime in, Mom, I want to go out for a walk too. So, I'd take her out on the streets. She'd tap the ground with her walking stick and ask me, Lu Xingci, are you trying to murder me? I just scoffed, and casually kept leading her straight toward a tree. But every single time, she'd reach out, feel what was in front of her, and ask, how exactly are you leading the way? Are you the blind one here, or am I? Sometimes I seriously wonder if she's faking it, because I haven't been able to trick her even once. But then again, she really does look blind. Oh, and Song Xiaoming actually came looking for me. She said she genuinely likes me, and since Liu Ruyan is blind now, there's no need for me to marry a blind woman. I told her to go say that to Liu Ruyan's face. She stomped off in a huff. I watched her walk away, and just scoffed. None of them are good people. At the insistence of Liu Ruyan's parents, I packed a few clothes and moved into the new house with her. She snapped at me, do you think this is a hotel? I snorted and replied, you're blind now. If you don't keep your head down and behave, I'm gonna teach you a serious lesson. She just raised an eyebrow and challenged me, oh? And how exactly are you going to teach me a lesson? By starving you. She said she didn't like having strangers in the house. So the maid only comes at scheduled times to cook and clean. Which means most of the time, it's just the 2 of us at home. My absolute favorite thing to do is drag her out for walks. Because watching her try to navigate as a blind person is actually pretty hilarious. She'd grip her cane, tapping along the ground. I asked her, if you end up being blind for the rest of your life, what are you gonna do? I'll just latch onto you for dear life, and make you take care of me. I held back a smirk. When that happens, I'll just bring my lovers home and cheat on you right under your nose. And you won't even know. Suddenly, her hand shot out and grabbed my neck with deadly accuracy. It scared the crap out of me. I quickly waved my hand in front of her eyes. No reaction. If you actually do that, I will literally kill you, Lu Xingci. After dinner, she said she wanted to take a shower. Then go take one, I said, acting like I didn't care at all. I need you to help me. How did you do it at your parents' house? Just do it the exact same way. I was used to the layout at my parents' house, but I'm completely lost in this new place. Ah, you're so high maintenance. I guided her into the bathroom, explaining where everything was one by one. So, I just handed her the shower head and turned to leave. But she grabbed my arm. What are you so shy about? We're already married. Who says I'm shy? I just don't want to bother bathing you. Wash yourself. Lu Xingci, you've got some serious nerve, huh? You're the only one I can rely on right now, and you won't even help me? Do you even have a conscience? Honestly, I couldn't see a single ounce of pride in her. Aren't blind people supposed to try desperately to prove they can live on their own? Why does she act like all her limbs are broken? Then, she took off her jacket. When her upper body was exposed, I couldn't help but stare for a moment. Like what you see, I just gave a dismissive TCH. And then, she just stripped off her underwear too. Zero hesitation. I glared at her. Who told you to strip? Put them back on, right now. Oh, do you shower with your clothes on? Why don't you do it and show me? Well, even if I did, you wouldn't be able to see it anyway, you blind bat. Her tone shifted. Then, take yours off too. Let's shower together. It's not like I can see anything anyway. In your dreams, I finally saw right through her. She was doing this on purpose. I stepped out of the glass door, waiting for her to finish washing up, and then handed her a towel. I gotta admit though, Liu Ruyan actually has a really great figure. I helped her out of the bathroom. Then, in the middle of the night, she called my phone. I picked it up. Hubby, come help me up. I need to use the bathroom. I groaned in frustration, rolling out of bed, and went to her room. After she was done with her business, I walked her back to bed, but she suddenly grabbed my wrist and said, "You're so mean to me. We're newlyweds, and you're just gonna leave me all alone in my room?" I tried to pull away, and used my other hand to tickle her, but she totally predicted my move. She pinned both my arms right behind my back. Turns out, she'd practiced taekwondo. I immediately started squirming around. She just held me down and whispered, "Relax. What could a poor blind girl possibly do to you? But since we're married, shouldn't we spend some time bonding? Panting heavily, I yelled, I'm going to starve you tomorrow. I swear it, I'm gonna lock you in this room and never let you out. I'll go buy iron chains and lock you up. Just you wait, you crazy blind bat, you can't even see, but you're still misbehaving. She laughed right above me. Well, then I definitely can't let you go now. Then she pinned my legs down with hers, hugging me tight so I couldn't move. Feeling her soft body against mine, I swore I could hear my own heartbeat racing. And then she had the nerve to deliberately tease me again. I cursed at her through gritted teeth. You pervert, I'm only doing this because I like you, Tilda. Hubby, alright, let's go to sleep. From now on, we'll be sleeping in the same bed. After all, we are husband and wife. I had barely finished scoffing, and she suddenly kissed me. We didn't say a word for at least half a minute. Just our lips pressed together. She always used to threaten me, saying that if I didn't listen to her, she'd kiss me or something. But she never actually did it. Now, I guess the quiet ones really are the most dangerous. I was completely stunned for ages. From now on, if you talk like that again, I'll just assume you're begging for a kiss. I let out a fierce huff. My very first kiss. I never expected kissing to feel like this. Her lips were so soft and warm. When I woke up the next morning, Blind Lu was still holding onto me. I gave her a hard shove. Hey Blind Lu, are you still asleep? Hurry up and get out of bed. She seemed to be in a really good mood, as she said to me, good morning. Hubby, I snapped, don't call me hubby. I shoved her a bit. Hubby, I pushed her away, rolled over, and got out of bed. Grumbling bitterly, you, even blind, you're still so annoying. I helped her finish washing up, and we went downstairs to eat. To my surprise, her mom was sitting right there in the living room. I whispered to her, your mom is here. She called out into thin air. Auntie, her mom then said, today, I'm taking you to the hospital for a checkup. While the two of us were eating at the table, her mom's eyes kept darting back and forth between us. I quickly stuffed another steamed bun into her hand. She doesn't really like steamed buns. Feed her some porridge. Okay, Auntie. I shoved a pan-fried dumpling into my mouth and started feeding porridge to Blind Lu. Her mom spoke up from the side. I asked your Uncle Shu. And he said that in your condition, losing your sight shouldn't have happened at all. Even if it did, you should have fully recovered by now. He doesn't know why you still can't see. Xingci, you just fed that right into her nose. I looked over, and it was true. I was too busy listening to her talk and hadn't been paying attention. I felt so incredibly careless. Her mom kept insisting that we move back into the family home, so that she could help take care of Liu Ruyan. But Liu Ruyan told her that we wanted to live in our own little world, just the two of us. As for Liu Ruyan's eyes, even the doctors were helpless. They just prescribed some meds, and then we headed home. For the next little while, the two of us basically just stayed in our new house. When I had free time, I'd go to the studio to paint, while she stayed in the study listening to audiobooks. If she ever needed anything, she'd just give me a call. Whenever it was time to eat, I had to feed her, but I would only feed her the things she actually wanted to eat. Like carrots, and greens, pork, stuff like that. Sometimes, I did feel pretty bad for her, so I'd actually feed her some good stuff. At night when we went to bed, she insisted on sharing the same bed, saying we needed to build our connection. I figured, since she was completely blind now, she wasn't much of a threat to me anymore. Plus, we were already married, so we eventually had to have a kid anyway. So after sharing a bed for a few days, we quickly ended up sleeping together. 2 weeks went by. One day, I went out to grab dinner with some college buddies. But since one of them had a family emergency, we all called it a night early. When I got home, I didn't see that Blind Lu anywhere in the study. Master bedroom was empty, too. Those were the two places she was most familiar with. She just wasn't there. I wondered if her mom had come and picked her up. I was just about to call her, but then I found her phone right there in the room. Ever since she went blind, that phone never left her hand, so she could easily call someone for help. I started wondering if she had wandered off by herself somewhere, and maybe fallen down, or bumped her head or something. Just as I rushed out of the room to see if she had passed out somewhere, I caught a glimpse of a shadow up on the third floor. I frowned. At this time of night, it definitely wasn't time for the maids to be cleaning. I grabbed a baseball bat and creeped my way upstairs, only to find that the door to a room on the third floor, one that was usually locked, had been opened. I quieted my footsteps and crept closer. I saw the light was on inside, and Liu Ruyan was just casually strolling around the room. She was taking her sweet time looking at the photos on the wall. Her eyes, there wasn't a hint of blindness in them. It hit me instantly. She had been playing me this whole time. I thought back to how we'd been interacting lately. Whenever I tried to walk her right into a tree, or steer her into a ditch, she always noticed. I just thought she was being extra careful. Plus, when we went to bed at night, she always insisted on turning off the lights. She wasn't clumsy like a blind person at all. She knew her way around perfectly, and she actually enjoyed having me feed her and wait on her while she bathed. But my furious anger was completely wiped out the very next second, because I followed her gaze and glanced at the wall. I was absolutely stunned. The wall was covered entirely with photos of me. Not just all sorts of photos from my middle and high school days, but even pictures from when I was in college. It looked like every single one was taken in secret, because I looked pretty damn goofy in most of them. I was so terrified I couldn't even bring myself to breathe. Liu Ruyan, was she actually a complete psycho? I mean, sure, I used to hate how she was always forcing me to do stupid crap with her. And totally wasting my time, but I still thought she was at least a normal person. Just a tiny bit unhinged, that's all. I never imagined she was actually this sick in the head. A cold chill ran straight down my spine. I started wondering if she had some sick, twisted fetish. Like, what if she was a serial killer? The kind who loved turning human skin into taxidermy, or drilling a hole right into someone's skull, and scooping out their brains to eat? My legs literally turned to jelly from the fear. Right then, Liu Ruyan finished tracing her fingers over this one massive photo. It looked like it was taken pretty recently. It was a picture of me sleeping. This just proved it even more. She was faking her blindness the whole time. She even mumbled something under her breath. Baby, you're finally mine now. Only my sheer willpower stopped me from collapsing onto the floor. Instead, it pushed me to slowly, and quietly, turn around. I had to get out of here. It didn't matter where, just running away was the best option. Amidst my chaotic thoughts, I suddenly realized. No wonder Liu Ruyan didn't want any maids in the house, and refused to live with her parents. It was just the two of us here. If she suddenly decided to kill me, I wouldn't have anyone to turn to for help. Sure enough, she had always been this terrifying. Faking her blindness earlier was just to lower my guard. She really did everything in her power, just to lure me into her trap. I turned around slowly, but just as I was halfway turned, she whipped her head around. Our eyes locked dead on each other. Her gaze was dark and absolutely terrifying. Yet, even after being caught, she remained completely unfazed. My breath hitched. I was frozen to the spot. I watched her step by step, walk right up to me. Every single step felt like she was stomping right on my heart. I pressed my back hard against the wall. A Liu Ruyan who could see was an overwhelming threat to me. I knew I couldn't outrun her, and I definitely couldn't overpower her. I stared at her, on high alert, but she just casually brushed it off, saying, I just realized. I can see again. She stared fixedly at me. I forced myself to give a stiff nod, to show I understood. Then, her warm hand gently caressed my face. It felt like a venomous snake was slithering around my neck. She leaned in close to my ear and whispered, Hubby, you look a little tense and scared. Had she noticed me looking at the photos inside that room? Honestly, if I could, I would have pretended to be blind myself. But I could only play dumb and stammer out. I just came upstairs, and saw you seem to be better. It startled me. Is there something inside? Should I go take a look? She just kept staring dead at me. I gulped hard. When you were blind, I said some awful things. I was afraid you were gonna get back at me. That's why I'm so on edge. You wouldn't be that petty and actually take revenge on me, right? Of course not. She suddenly smiled. She grabbed me with one hand, pulling me toward her, while her other hand swiftly locked the door shut. She laced her fingers through mine and led me forward. I already told you, we're husband and wife now. I love you more than anything. My entire body was practically humming with tension. But she mentioned that her parents needed to know about her recovery as soon as possible. She kept a tight grip on my hand the entire time she was on the phone, constantly sizing me up. I didn't dare make a single wrong move in front of her again. I managed to force out a strained smile. It was just the two of us in this massive house, and it left me absolutely terrified. Thank God, her mother on the other end of the line told us to come over for dinner. I felt like a man on death row who just got a pardon. It's just like the horror movies I watched as a kid. Ghosts don't attack when there's a crowd around. So, if I want to stay alive, I absolutely cannot be left alone with her. When the two of us finally walked out of that villa, I felt like I could actually breathe again. She drove this time. Usually, whenever we went out, I was the one behind the wheel. I sat in the passenger seat, just staring out the window, desperately trying to figure out what my next move should be. If Liu Ruyan and I weren't married, and I had found out she was this totally unhinged, I could just run and hide, and no one would say a damn thing. But now that we're married, she legally has rights as my wife. No matter where I run, she can just openly track me down without anyone questioning it. What a terrifying, toxic woman. And on top of that, judging by the fact that she's been secretly taking photos of me for years, she definitely developed some twisted, obsessive fixation on me a long time ago. Whatever, I just need to find an opening and make a run for it. Obviously I can't go back to my own place, and staying at her house is out of the question. I've been wanting to cut ties with all these people for a while anyway. If I do it now, maybe I can still get away clean. When we got to her parents' house, it was packed with relatives. They were all staring at her like some kind of circus monkey. But she just kept that same, usual look, completely unfazed. With a faint smile on her lips, she told them, I'm so lucky to have Xingci looking after me this time. Honestly, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have recovered nearly this fast. Hearing her say that sent shivers down my spine. I knew it was a double meaning. Everyone else just thought I was an amazing, caring husband. But only I knew. What she was actually saying was, because I caught her, she couldn't keep faking her blindness anymore. So she had no choice but to miraculously recover. After dinner, she leaned in and whispered, "Honey, let's head home." I stared at her, my heart racing, and blurted out, You just recovered. Why don't we just stay the night here with your parents?" Her mom was absolutely thrilled when she heard that. She quickly chimed in, "Oh, yes. That's a wonderful idea. The house feels so terribly quiet when you two aren't around. And if you two end up having a baby, I'll be right here to help take care of it." The moment she mentioned a baby, my heart dropped as a sudden realization hit me. We haven't been using any protection lately. I originally figured, since Liu Ruyan was blind, she couldn't exactly do much to hurt me, and having a kid wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Now that I know she's totally psychotic, I instantly regretted every single time we didn't use protection. After dinner, I stayed glued to the living room couch. I refused to go upstairs. I just sat there until the living room was completely empty. She raised an eyebrow at me and smirked. "Since when do you like watching TV dramas?" "Just started," I replied, keeping my eyes glued to the trashy soap opera on the screen. Without looking at her for even a second, I said, "You go on up and get some sleep. I'll join you in a bit." But she didn't leave. The two of us just sat there, watching TV from 9 o'clock all the way to 2 in the morning. We even ended up watching a horror movie. That just made me even more terrified. And through it all, she just sat right next to me, waiting with this creepy patience. Eventually, even she couldn't keep her eyes open anymore. She finally got up and headed upstairs. I immediately stared at the front door, my chest tight. But it was too late to run now. Besides, if she caught me sneaking out, she'd drag me right back here in a heartbeat. I figured I'd just crash on the sofa for the night, and wait for her to go to work. Then I'd make a run for it. I lay down on the couch, and quickly dozed off. While I was half asleep, I felt her wrapping a blanket around me. What the hell was she trying to do? I jolted awake. "What are you doing? What do you think?" "Just covering you with a blanket. I still want to watch my movie." I bolted upright, forcing my heavy eyes open to watch the screen. "Then just lie down," she murmured, wrapping her arms around me. My whole body went stiff. I thought to myself, she probably wouldn't try anything crazy right now, since we're at her parents' house. Comforted by that thought, I easily drifted back to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, I found myself lying in a bed. I was still in Ryan's room, but she was already gone. I quickly bolted the door and searched her room for anything suspicious. But I didn't find a thing. She hid her tracks way too well. When I went downstairs, her mom greeted me with a warm smile. She kept asking if I slept okay, and even thanked me for taking care of Ryan. I casually asked her mom if Ryan had ever seen a therapist before. She looked at me, totally confused, before her expression turned ice cold. "She's not sick. Why on earth would she need a doctor? You're a married man now. You need to speak a bit more maturely, and stop fooling around with her all day." Yeah, clearly I wasn't getting anywhere with her mom. I asked where Ryan went, and she said she was out hanging with friends. She also mentioned that Ryan planned to go back to work only after we had our wedding ceremony. And after the wedding, there's the honeymoon. Just thinking about it gave me the creeps. I got out of her house as fast as I could and rushed back to my own place. I dragged out my suitcase, grabbed all my IDs and important documents, stuffed some clothes in, then called a ride and headed straight for the airport. I bought a plane ticket, planning to escape down south first. Once I got off the plane, I just hop in a random cab, find some tourist town, and lay low for a few months. Thank God I work as an online freelance illustrator. I can do my job from literally anywhere. It's a shame I won't get to enjoy my marriage savings anymore, but whatever. Staying alive is the priority here. I scrambled downstairs, booked another ride on my phone, and threw open the front door. Only to see Ryan leaning casually against the courtyard wall, staring right at me. She smiled sweetly. "Hey, hubby, all packed up? Where are you running off to?" I stared at her, completely frozen, before reality finally hit me. I tried to slam the door shut and lock it, but she was way too fast. She shoved the door hard and forced her way inside. I gripped my phone, trying to sneakily dial 911 behind my back, as I stammered. What are you doing? I think I should be the one asking you that. Packing your bags, buying plane tickets. Don't tell me, you were planning to run away right before our wedding? For a second there, I didn't know whether to demand how she found out I bought a plane ticket, or just lie and say I didn't. She just stared at me, and snatched my phone right out of my hand. Then she hung up my call to the police. I was terrified. "Liu Ruyan, let's just talk this out, okay? We grew up together, for crying out loud." I was practically in tears. She looked at me, dead serious. "Then you are coming home with me right now." With that, she grabbed my suitcase and dragged me all the way back to her place. I looked at her and said, "Hey, how about we go stay at your parents' house? You're their only daughter. They must be so lonely without you." She shot me a look and said, "We can move back there once we have kids. If you want to, that is." I thought to myself, she actually wants to have kids with me? Does that mean she isn't planning to kill me? But a psycho's mental state is completely unpredictable. Once we got back to the house, she turned to me. "You aren't going to run away again, are you?" I tried to play it cool. "Of course not. Haha, why on earth would I run away? I'm not crazy." But deep down, I was absolutely terrified. Because she stopped leaving the house entirely, and kept dragging me to bed to make a baby. I didn't dare test her sanity. So, while she was taking a shower, I slipped a sleeping pill into her milk. I had bought those pills for myself a while ago. They had been sitting around forever. I had no idea if they were expired or not. She came out, gave me a look, and drank it. As soon as she was fast asleep, I jumped up and ran straight to her garage to get the car. I left all my stuff behind. But when I drove up to the main gate, the heavy iron doors were completely locked tight. They weren't locked when we came back earlier. "Can't you just behave yourself?" I froze at the sound of her dark, chilling voice. I spun around and saw Lu Ruyan standing there. Her face was dangerously dark. Her eyes staring right through me. It was pitch black outside, the wind was howling. Everything was deadly silent and completely engulfed in darkness. And yet, here she was. Not even a sleeping pill could knock this woman out. It was utterly terrifying. "Are you not tired enough?" I stammered. I just wanted to go for a drive." She dragged me back into the house by force, and pulled out a set of handcuffs and leg irons. As she slapped them on me, I stared at her in absolute horror. She asked me, "You saw the photos in that room, didn't you?" "Baby? What? What room? What photos? What photos?" I was trembling uncontrollably. Are we role-playing right now? But could you maybe unbind my feet? Otherwise, it might be a bit inconvenient, right? She just ground her teeth, and started dragging me straight up to the 3rd floor. As everyone knows, in the movies, when the villain finally stops pretending to be the good guy, that's exactly when the main character gets tortured. I immediately scrambled back, but she forcefully dragged me along. I resorted to clinging to her leg. "Honey, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I will never run away again. I mean it. Please don't kill me. From now on, I'll do whatever you say. I swear. Really. Boo-hoo. My life is a tragedy." Out of the frying pan and into the fire. She crouched down, looked right at me, and gave a faint smile. "Should I call you a coward? When I pretended to be blind, you had the nerve to walk all over me. Should I call you brave? Just look at you now, terrified out of your mind." Despite my begging, she still dragged me upstairs. We went into that room, and the moment the lights flicked on, I was met with that wall entirely covered in photos again. It was enough to trigger my trypophobia. My scalp went numb staring at those pictures. I felt like she was bound to turn me into a stuffed specimen sooner or later. I hesitantly asked, "When did you become such a psycho?" She let out a soft chuckle and pinched my cheek. "Ever since I met you." She leaned in close to me, and whispered slowly into my ear, "If you hadn't discovered this room of mine. If you hadn't had a death wish and tried to run away so many times. I never wanted to lock you up, baby. Please, don't do this. We're already married, and the wedding is right around the corner." I pleaded. "But, do you think this is a bad thing?" She mocked. "When you were plotting to escape, wasn't that a bad thing too?" And just like that, I was locked up by my new wife. I was in sheer disbelief. She confiscated my phone and all my devices, and locked the front door. Whenever she was home, my hands and feet were free to move. But when she was out, I was forced to wear ankle shackles. She said I couldn't be trusted, but that our wedding had to go perfectly. On the day we went to shoot our wedding photos, she kept her eyes glued to me the entire time, giving me zero chance to bolt. She hasn't turned me into a stuffed specimen yet, but I feel like it's only a matter of time. Even when I went to the bathroom, she'd be right there waiting outside. If I didn't know she was completely unhinged, spending day and night together like this, I definitely have developed some real feelings for her. I didn't dare fight back, because I was terrified she might just kill me. It seems my gut feeling since childhood was right all along. Liu Ruyan is truly terrifying. That's why I've been trying so hard to hide from her. In the end, I couldn't escape. On the day of the wedding, I kept fantasizing that when it was time to say our vows, I would bravely shout, "I don't." And then, under the shocked stares of all the guests, I'd sprint right out of the venue. But reality hit me. Looking around at the lavish floral arrangements, and the fluttering white veils, a wave of sheer misery washed over me. I felt like I was attending my own funeral. I had completely given up on life. Well, I was already here, and there was no way in hell I could outrun her anyway. I figured I'd better just play nice. Liu Ruyan made a promise to me. As long as I behaved myself, she wouldn't lock me up. What she meant by behaving well was just quietly staying put, and playing her husband. As for Liu Ruyan, her eyes actually teared up. Was she moved by her own scheming? She finally tricked me into this cage, leaving me entirely at her mercy. Looking completely dead inside, I put on my ring, and then slipped hers on. As she kissed me, she whispered softly, "Smile, hubby, we're married now."